Good morning, friends, and welcome. Let's start our class today with a prayer together. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, Guru Preceptors, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Laidima Shaya, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, beloved Guru Dev, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow at thy feet. Bless our class today with thy divine presence as we seek to uplift ourselves in higher awareness, higher perception, and super consciousness. Om Shanti Shanti. We'll have a song now, and then we'll have a video clip from Swami Kriyananda Ji on this topic of today, super conscious living. Welcome again, friends.
There were two frogs went hopping out one day to see what they could see. Oh, now one of them was big and strong, they say, the other one was wee. Oh, as they hopped about so merrily, they chanced upon a mystery. Something shiny, bright and high and round. What luck was this they'd found? They thought they'd never rest again until the mystery was clear. Oh, as things so round and high and shiny will, it tempted them too near. Oh, for they jumped up in a soaring ark, as though each frog had been a lark. And they dropped in something smooth as silk, it was a pail of milk. Just give a thought, I'm sure you will agree, theirs was a sorry plight. Oh, the bucket sides were smooth and steep, and gee, their jumping power was slight. Oh, though they tried and tried to leap back out, a frog's a frog, he's not a trout. On dry land he'll hop and hop at whim, in milk he has to swim. Well, so they swam and swam and swam, poor things, they'd nothing else to do. Oh, God gave them legs, but not a hint of wings. Soon both were turning blue. Oh, then the big frog gasped and cried, I can't. My legs won't move, I can hardly pant. What's the use of trying, we'll never win. The big frog thus gave in. But now the little frog swam harder still, the milk churned with his feet. Oh, he thought, though tired, I'd rather use my will than be a lump of meat. Oh, suddenly as strength was failing him, a large lump touched him on a limb. Firm at last upon this butter mound, he hopped up to the ground.
There's a very interesting book called Talks with Great Composers by, I think his name is George A. Bell, in which he reported, after talking to a number of really great composers like Brahms and so on, and he reported their words in discussing conversations they had had with other great composers who had died previous to the actual gathering of this information for the book. And without exception, every one of the great composers felt that they had received their inspiration from above. They'd received it from a higher source. They didn't just go to sleep and there it was, passively. What you receive in passivity will not be it will not be that kind, it will not have that revelatory impact that will ring down the ages as a truth, as an inspiration, as something that moves people's lives and changes the directions of maybe whole cultures. That kind of wisdom, that kind of greatness of impact, all of that comes from a higher level of being. The great inspirations of scientists, artists, musicians, explorers, all kinds of people, they come from a higher level of their being, of man's being. And when you learn to tune in, to tap that higher source within you, perhaps sometimes you've done it already, and you've suddenly been amazed at the clarity that comes. You know, something that comes from the subconscious, you may think of as possibly a good idea, but you don't know it's a good idea. In that which comes from the superconscious, there's a certainty. There are some marvelous stories, like the singer who invented the Singer sewing machine. He was trying to create a needle that would move up and down, but he found that the string kept getting tangled up, and he didn't know what to do about it. One night, he had a dream, which amounted to a vision, in which he saw natives of some primitive country fighting with spears, and the odd thing about this vision was that those spears had, each of them, a hole in the tip of it. And he woke up and he said, "That's the answer. I need to put the eye of my needle in the tip, not in the back where it normally is." As soon as he did that, he had his invention. You will find that the annals of discovery are filled with stories like that, where people they may have gotten it in sleep, they may have gotten it just in moments of rest. Usually that would come in moments of rest or upliftedness of consciousness, whatever it might be. But they got them in periods when their minds were still, and then in that stillness came absolute certainty. Now you and I we've all had dreams, but those dreams didn't give us that level of certainty. And as the saying goes, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Sometimes we feel dogmatically certain about something, but it doesn't work. The proof of a superconscious experience, inspiration, guidance, the proof is that it does work. The higher level of consciousness has control over the lower, can guide the lower. The conscious mind can guide the subconscious, particularly the more conscious you are. And the superconscious guides the conscious. So it's not as if you, in your conscious mind, can manipulate the superconscious, but you can try to attune yourself with the way the superconscious works.
Good morning again, friends, and welcome. I'd like to start by reading from this fantastic book, How to Awaken Your True Potential by Master. And the very first page, he says, "Come out of your closed chamber of limitation. Breathe in the fresh air of vital thoughts. Exhale poisonous thoughts of discouragement, discontentment, or hopelessness. Never suggest to your mind human limitations of sickness, old age, or death, but constantly remind yourself, I am the infinite, which has become the body. You are all God's, if you only knew it. You must look within. Behind the wave of your consciousness is the sea of God's presence. Claim your divine birthright. Awake, and you shall find the glory of God within." These are such beautiful words of Master. Oh, and from the internet, I found something interesting too before I begin. This says, a famous story, Swamiji used to tell this story a lot, goes, Thomas Edison failed to refine the light bulb, one of the few creations he merely refined, but did not invent. So many times it took him 10,000 attempts to perfect it. During his lifetime, Edison patented a record-setting 1,093 different inventions On a single day, he wrote down 112 ideas, averaged across his adult life. He patented something roughly about every 11 days. How incredible. We have to realize that, as Master said, we are the divine. We're in human bodies. We have personalities. We have how we look, how we seem. This is a delusion. Inside, we're the wave of cosmic consciousness, the wave of super consciousness, the wave of higher perception, the wave of all knowing. The soul is all knowing. And so in all of our practices and everything that we do, we're trying to break the dream of worries, of fears, of littleness, of, oh, I can't do it. Oh, let somebody else do it. Oh, don't ask me. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm sick. Oh, I'm lazy, and on and on and on. So all of the practices that we have try to break that dream. We have the super conscious living exercises. I am awake and ready. I'm positive, energetic, enthusiastic. We have the super conscious attunement ceremony. These were written by Swamiji, where we do affirmations, we do prayers for others, we chant Om at the chakras, we chant the waves of Om, we ring the gong, we do everything we can to awaken, to lift the energy up. We just did this beautiful ceremony in Gurgaon on Sunday. It's very powerful to awaken the super consciousness. And then we meditate afterwards. We have all of the practices of energization exercises, of all the meditation techniques, of yoga, of seva, of satsang, all to awaken the super consciousness. We focus here in meditation. Saints' eyes go up when they're in higher states of awareness. They don't go down. This is the seat of enlightenment. This is the seat of joy, the seat of wisdom, the seat of all knowing, the seat of escape from delusion. But we have to understand how we lift the consciousness up and how we keep our consciousness in a higher state of awareness. Someone asked Master once, is inspiration controlled? Can it be under the control of your will? Master immediately said, yes, take down this poem. And he created a poem, one of the most beautiful ones in Whispers from Eternity. And Master wrote that beautiful, beautiful experience of samadhi that we've heard it, we've heard the recording, we've read the words. Some people are learning the poem, which Master said, by the way, to repeat it and every day. And he wrote that where? Not in a cave in the Himalayas. He wrote it on the New York subway. Incredible, meaning you can draw inspiration anywhere. And later he said, well, no one took my ticket. He said, well, in fact, no one even saw me. So he must have went into a very deep state on the New York subway. And Swamiji, Master again, was saying how he said, you can switch on and switch off. You can go into a higher state at will. One time there was a wishing well. The devotees, disciples were moving the wishing well, and it fell on Master's foot. And his face just was grimacing. He was in so much pain. And then he used that time to show the disciples a lesson. He said, now watch, when I shift my consciousness to the higher level, I won't feel the pain. How beautiful. And he did. And they said he looked just normal. He was out of pain. He says, now when I shifted back, when I go back into a lower state of consciousness, I'm going to feel the pain. This is a remarkable experience, an experiment that Master, when he showed the disciples how to lift the energy up by raising your consciousness up. Everything we do is to raise the consciousness up. We just have to remember it. Energize at different times when we're feeling kind of low of energy. Just sit and gaze up at the spiritual eye at different times when we can. Master told the monks to keep their awareness and consciousness uplifted all the time. Swamiji, when he would go to the dentist. I haven't been able to do this myself quite yet, but he said that he didn't want to take Novocaine because it would, your mouth would be deadened for however many hours. And so he said that he didn't take it. He said he would just get in another state of consciousness. And he said, oh, I would compose music or think about books I was going to write or different things like that. And he would shift his level of awareness and consciousness. And so for all of us, we have to remember that it's like a muscle. If you use it more and more, your super consciousness, you'll be living more and more on that level. And one time, Master, he met a man who was a painter, and this man had painted a painting of Lahiri Mahashaya. The master saw it and he said, oh, that's very nice. And he says, well, how long has it taken you to perfect your skill? And the man said, oh, it's 20 years. It took me 20 years to learn how to paint. And master said, 20 years to convince yourself that you could paint? I just love that answer. And the man said, well, it takes a long time. And master said, give me a week. And master went off for a week. He came back, he painted the same painting. He came back and it was beautiful. And the man himself had to say that master's was better than his. And so we have to realize it's not time, it's not place, it's various things that we can use to get in a level of higher consciousness and to remain there. So what can we do? First thing, you have to access more energy. You can't lie on the couch and say, yes, I'm dreaming of something I'm going to do. You have to get more energy flow, prana flow. I would highly suggest Shivani Lucky's, Nayaswami Shivani's book, new book on life force. It's fantastic. And her talks are fabulous. She talks about prana and how prana just comes in the body through the medulla and charges your whole body and your brain and keeps you awake and ready and keeps you healthy, keeps you well, keeps you inspired. I highly recommend that you get that book. You can get it also on Amazon now because Ananda's on Amazon now. Many of the books are there. That took a lot of energy and super consciousness in itself, but we're there. First thing, access more energy. There was a woman, devotee in Gurgaon, who told me this story on Sunday, Sunday, that about energization. Now, people do it kind of weekly and, watching a movie and moving your arms and all that. That's not energization, by the way. Energization has a lot of power in it, and Shakti and super conscious living exercises. I'm positive, I'm energetic, I'm enthusiastic, and yoga postures, all of it helps us to access and bring in more energy. So she said that she tried energization doing 3 times a day. Fabulous. I mean, during COVID, a lot of people were doing it many more times a day. She said she felt fantastic. And then she said, she was an experiment. She said, then I tried doing it for, several days, 3 times a day, then twice a day, several days. She said, I felt good, but definitely was less energy. Then she said, I tried once a day. Definitely was a drop in energy. Then I dropped. I didn't do it at all. She said, I was just like a pancake. There was no energy there. And then I picked it back up. And then I just saw what energization does. It really brings you more energy. When you have energy, you can lift the energy up. You can't lift it. If you have nothing to lift up, you can't move it up. And so first thing is access more energy. Do energization, do superconscious living, do the yoga postures, do pranayama. Get out and exercise, breathe, move. And secondly, when you have that energy, access it. But first I want to go into, before we go into that, I want to go into when you have the energy, the other thing that helps you to keep that energy flow is to keep your mind strong, positive, enthusiastic. Do things you've never done. Create something, paint, sing, do music, do something that you've wanted to do your whole life. Say, yes, I can, I will, I want to. I have to do this to open myself. And I think a part of the reason people's memory goes is they stop doing things that are creative. So say yes to life and start doing things that you wanted to do. I remember Swamiji said to me, some of his last words to me were on the way to the airport. We were dropping him off, and I was so happy the trip had gone so well. And Swamiji was in the front seat. I was in the back. And he says, we were just about at the airport. And I was just hanging on. So then afterwards I could collapse after the trip. And he says, Dhyana? I said, yes, Swamiji. He says, why don't you learn the Hindi script? And I went, why? And then I just, oh no. And he says, why not? And I said, okay, I'll do it, Swamiji. But that's the thing, you think I've done everything I can, and then Divine Mother asks you for something else. The next thing is channeling the energy that you have. As I was saying, drawing inspiration, ideas, creativity, keeping your mind awake, projects at work, doing things differently, everything, try something different and channel the energy into new and creative ideas, insights, things that you would like to do. And creative thinking. I remember being at many meetings with Swamiji where he threw out an idea and he said, well, what does everybody think about that? Gee, I don't know. I mean, that just was not a good answer. So he would challenge you. No, think about it. And in classes that I like to have, discussion, throw out a question to people, have them think about it. Otherwise, just a lecture, you only get so much out of that. But if you have to think about it, analyze it, figure it out, give a good answer to something, then you challenge your brain more and energy flows better. Finally, do something, whatever it is, continuously until you succeed, or until you at least have done everything that you can. I see people drop off halfway. People drop off the path. People drop off with their job. People drop off in their relationships. People drop off. They drop off in so many things. But just continuously use the will like a muscle until you achieve the goal. Like Swamiji said in his books that are brilliant, 150 books, incredible. That man was incredible. He said he would edit those books, sometimes go over and over and over them 50 times until he got what he wanted to say, till he said it in the right way 50 times over and over. And when we sing, I mean, the best choirs are the ones that practice a lot. They practice all the time, practice every day, once a week or whatever you can do, but sing the songs over and over and over and over. Some people tell me, oh, you have a nice voice. I didn't take any voice classes. I just sing Swamiji's songs. I sing the chants. 40 something years, over and over and over, you sing. Get a harmonium, start singing. The other thing with music that I play now with the Esraj, I mean, it sounds okay, but it sounds terrible if I don't practice. You can't get around not practicing. And sometimes I play a song 30, 40, 50 times until, okay, now it sounds okay. It's not great, but at least it sounds okay. So sometimes I send the audio recordings out to a few friends. What they get, I've worked on that so long until I get it to the point where it's okay. And then I work on it the next day and the next day to get it better. So don't stop. Keep going until you feel like, finally, I feel Divine Mother's pleased with this. I feel Master's smile in my heart. I feel I've done the best job that I can do. If it's teaching, if it's singing, if it's writing, if it's whatever it is at your job. And then you will find that your energy will be much more uplifted. Keep doing it. Come up with creative things, have more energy, and you'll find that your energy will be uplifted more and more. I'd like to end with a beautiful vow that Swamiji wrote on the vow of superconsciousness, superconscious living. I'd like Natindra to put it on the board, on the screen. And Just say this mentally as I go through it. I vow from this day forth to be true to my higher consciousness self, to be a channel of light, of love, and blessings to all, to live in joy, not in sorrow, in truth, not error, in victory, not failure, and in times of adversity, to blame no one but myself. And then instead of blame, to accept responsibility. Om Shanti, Shanti. I'll ask Natindra to join me now on the screen. We have a few questions.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. I'll just share the list of questions. The first question, Dhyanaji, is how can we stay guided more by our super conscious in our daily life decisions as well?
Master gave this technique to look at the spiritual eye and put your thought, your prayer, your need out at that point, to send it out into the ether. And then to feel in the heart, the center of receptivity, the response from God, from the gurus. Send out your question. This, obviously, you should have a calm mind when you do this. After meditation would be a good time. And then feel in the heart. You may have to weigh things. Is this the right decision, or is this the right decision? Is this the right job, or is this the right job? Is this the right thing to do, or is this the right thing to do? It may take you some days and just feeling what is the response and listening. But then don't wait too long. The third part is act. Do what seems right. Take one step in the direction of what seems like the right thing. I would also add in there, ask people who you respect and ask them, does this seem right to you? Ask the guru for sure, but ask your peers, ask your acharyas, and then take the first step. And if that feels, okay, this seems right, take the next step. Oh, now I'm supposed to go right. Now I'm supposed to go left. You can't get, I love what Swamiji said, inspiration usually comes through doing, not sitting, doing. So as you get moving, Divine Mother can guide you better, can direct you, can send people to help you, send you the ideas. But you have to have the energy to draw inspiration. Okay?
Thank you, Dhyanaji. The next question is, if the environment around us is not very supportive, then how can we still remain uplifted? And what can I do from our path to stay more super conscious in that setting?
I think you can't keep blaming the environment. I mean, it's how are you going to change that? You can't change people. You can't change the world, and you can only change yourself. If you get it, you can change yourself. I say, glory, hallelujah. I mean, that's a big task in itself. So what can you do to stay more super conscious? I would say the things I said already, but also read Master's books, Master and Swamiji's books. Read them. Read something every day. Living Wisely, Living Well, or one of the books. Oh, take it to work with you. Read it on the bus. Read it in the back of the cab, or put it in your briefcase, but read something inspiring. And when you feel like, okay, I'm stuck, read something. The other thing, listen to the talks. I mean, we heard Swamiji today, or you can watch from YouTube. What was that, 3 minutes or something? And you feel inspired, no? Do an affirmation. Pick one a day and do it. Read something every day, pick an affirmation every day. Hear Swamiji's or Masters or both, their voices every day. 1 minute, you feel better. And just hearing the voice, no? Listen to Swamiji's music. If you can do more, play it. Get a tanpur, get a harmonium, get a guitar, whatever you feel you can play, a keyboard. If you can't play, sing it. I mean, if you can't play and sing, listen to it. If you can play an instrument, sing along. What I'm saying is participate. Don't be passive. Oh, it sounds wonderful. Doesn't it sound wonderful? Sing it. Sing along if you can. You'll find that it really is uplifting. The music is uplifting. The books are uplifting. The videos of Swamiji, Master, God, they're very uplifting. get to the center. I was so thrilled when I came to Gurgaon. Natindra, you all are doing a fabulous job. 85 people coming to the How to Meditate level 1. The place was jam-packed. Another level 3 packed with people in the other room. I mean, get to the center, participate. And then there was at least 20 or 25 volunteers helping out. Get involved. And just being there, I was so uplifted by just being there. I didn't want to go home. So you go there and the energy's high and you feel like, oh yeah, this is my vibration. This is my level of energy. These are my peers. And get with the right people, get in the right places. And finally, chant Om Guru. If you feel like, oh, I'm really having a hard time, sometimes darkness comes over you. I've had it happen. I've had it happen for days at a time. I kept fighting. And then I remember, just at a moment, I remember when it broke, it went, it was gone. But I had to fight all the way. I didn't, oh, help me, Master. I was clinging to him, but I was fighting. You have to be a fighter. And I was positive. I was energetic. I was enthusiastic. I was reading. I was affirming. I was chanting. I was singing. I was playing an instrument. And then pop, it broke. You can't just think God's going to do everything. You have to help yourself. And then he'll come to the rescue, maybe the 11th hour. I've been there, but I didn't fall off the cliff. That's the important thing. He rescued me. So, did we answer all the questions?
We do have one more, but if you could answer quickly, though it is long. Can you share some experiences of how Swamiji and Master would lift the consciousness of those who are around them?
I mean, the superconsciousness? That's what you're saying? Yeah, well, Master didn't let anybody who was in a mood be around him. And remember the story, Swamiji walking by him and Master saying, how are you, Walter? And Swamiji went, well, Master said, that's good. Just didn't want to hear it. So that's how they live superconsciously. He just didn't allow you to be in a mood. And with Swamiji, he didn't invite you around, really. And there wasn't any really close, huggy kind of, oh, I love you, Swamiji. He was the captain, you were awake and ready in his presence. You knew you were in the presence of God, a very high soul, and you behaved accordingly. And so, yeah, he would test you, like I said, about the Hindi and various things. He asked me once, do you energize? And at that time, decades back, thank God, I wasn't energizing hardly at all. And he says, he could tell. I said, I don't really like doing it. He said, you have to do it. So he would catch you and just say, no, it's a part of the path. You have to do it. And so he didn't let you kind of slouch around. You never laid on the couch around Swamiji. You were sitting up with your spine straight. And just the vibration of him, you were totally in your center. So I think, and he said when he was with Master, he would feel the energy just pouring out of his spiritual eye, just sitting with Master, not meditating, just sitting with him. And that problems he had for years disappeared, just in the presence. So I think just being in the presence, darshan, just being in the presence of a great soul, you just feel uplifted. Last thing I'll say is participate in the superconscious attunement ceremony. Go wherever it's happening and do it. We did it every week at Ananda Village for years and years. When Swamiji first wrote that, it's so powerful. I mean, I could hardly sleep that night. I don't know about you, Natindra. I just was like buzzing the whole night. And it stays with you a long, long time. That, the purification ceremony, going to Kriya, going to the long meditations for Kriya bonds, all these things keep your consciousness high. If you don't do them, you're going to have to struggle. Why struggle when we have so much that Masters offered to us to stay and live superconsciously? God bless you all. Thank you, Natindra. Bye-bye, everybody.